When you approach a book that claims to complete a statistical investigation into one of history's most controversial artifacts, you expect either confirmation or contradiction. Dallas James's The Transphysical Testimony, Volume 3, 12 Inquiries into the Shroud, delivers something far more nuanced. It delivers discipline, it delivers restraint, and it delivers a finding that might be more valuable than any simple affirmation. This 2026 volume is the third installment in a series that treats the Shroud of Turin not as a relic to be venerated or dismissed, but as a forensic witness to be interrogated through the Shield 14.0 protocol. Where Volume 1 established the architecture and Volume 2 ran 19 pre-registered draws, Volume 3 executes 12 carefully structured inquiries organized into 4 narrative triads: Forensic Foundation, Geographic and Material Witness, Energy Event, and Theological Closure. The methodology remains consistent with the previous volumes. Each inquiry was pre-registered with locked keyword criteria before cryptographic entropy selected 100 verses from the 34,211 verse Urim Thummim version corpus. Each draw was time-stamped. Each verdict was generated by the rule-based deterministic engine before any interpretation was written, and each result was reported regardless of whether it affirmed the questioner's hopes. But here is where Volume 3 diverges from its predecessor in a way that matters deeply. Volume 2 returned 13 affirmative or leaning yes verdicts and 2 neutrals across 19 draws, an unusually directional pattern. Volume 3 returns 3 yes verdicts for lean yes and 5 neutrals. One of those neutrals, the inquiry into the Prey manuscript, returned a soft no with a probability of yes at 12.9% against no at 86%. This is not a failure. This is the instrument working as designed. A statistical protocol that affirms every prayer-guided question is a confirmation bias engine. A statistical protocol that returns directional neutrality, sometimes against the questioner's evident hope, is something else entirely. It is an instrument that can say no. It is, therefore, an instrument whose yes means something. The 12 inquiries press questions that previous volumes had not touched. Does the Sudarium of Oviedo function as the second witness Deuteronomy demands? The corpus returns yes at 99.8% probability with extreme anomaly. Does the lance wound separation of blood and clear fluid constitute a forensic signature confirming bodily death? The corpus leans yes at 95%. Do the glorified wounds retained in the resurrection body represent eternal honor rather than erased blemish? The corpus leans yes at 93.9% with discover level convergence at 5.03 sigma. The geographic triad produces some of the volume's strongest findings. Do the 2024 to 2025 Holy Sepulchre garden excavations confirming John 19:41 established the geographic anchor? The corpus returns yes at 99.8% with the highest convergence confidence index in a volume at 90%. Do the Jerusalem-specific pollens and aragonite limestone particles constitute a geological seal? The corpus leans yes at 96.6%. But when asked whether the 3-to-1 herringbone weave reveals the shroud as the appointed priestly garment prepared in advance, the corpus returns neutral. It engages the question at extreme anomaly while declining to affirm the specific application. The energy event triad addresses the mechanism of image formation. How did the cloth survive the 34 terawatt vacuum ultraviolet burst? The corpus returns yes at 99.3%, affirming that the energy was selective, intelligent, and proceeding from the divine hand rather than destructive radiation. Does the discontinuity at the hairline reveal bodily suspension during resurrection? The corpus returns neutral, reframing the question away from biophysical mechanics toward covenantal lifting. Does the photographic-negative property, visible only after Secondo Pia's 1898 plate, constitute an appointed time witness for the technological generation? The corpus returns yes at 99.7%, with the most extreme guidance detection indicator in the entire volume at 3.83 times 10 to the minus 7. The theological closure triad produces the volume's most carefully measured responses. Does the Acheiropoieta tradition, the image not made by hands, fulfill the Daniel 234 stone cut without hands? The corpus leans yes at 99.7%, with the second highest affirmative polarity in the volume. Do the scalp punctures consistent with a full cap of thorns reveal the typological completeness of the Genesis 3:18 curse? The corpus returns neutral, affirming the architecture while declining to settle the iconographic dispute. And finally, does the 1192 Prey manuscript constitute mathematical proof against radiocarbon contamination? The corpus returns its only directional no at 86% probability. This final verdict is the methodological centerpiece of the entire volume. The father is not declining to engage. He is declining to affirm the framing. The Prey manuscript may well be evidence that early shroud iconography circulated by 1192. That is a reasonable historical inference. But to upgrade reasonable inference about iconographic transmission into mathematical proof against contamination is to make the witness say more than it knows. The corpus, attentive to false witness, gently declines. What makes this volume stand out is not its conclusions, but its discipline. James refuses to cherry-pick. The 5 neutral verdicts are given the same prominence as the 3 strong affirmatives. He explicitly states what the protocol cannot claim. He separates statistical anomaly from causal attribution. He respects pre-registration as a safeguard against confirmation bias. And he consistently yields to the corpus's own grammar rather than forcing later theological systems onto the text. For readers accustomed to devotional certainty or skeptical dismissal, this methodological restraint will feel either refreshing or frustrating. For readers interested in the intersection of computational theology, forensic history, and covenantal hermeneutics, is a landmark exercise in epistemic humility. The book is not without its demands. The statistical terminology requires patience. The protocol's architecture assumes familiarity with concepts like the polarity balance index, the convergence confidence index, and the dominion triad sigma. The appendices are dense, and the draw-by-draw metrics are presented without handholding. Yet this density is precisely what gives the work its credibility. James is not simplifying to persuade. He is reporting to document. The synthesis chapters pull the threads together, showing how the forensic foundation received the cleanest affirmations while the theological closure received the most carefully measured responses. The corpus is least willing to confirm interpretive overreach. It is most willing to confirm the substance of the witness. Volume 3 does not end with a proof. It ends with an instrument whose yes means something because it learned to say no. 12 inquiries arranged across 4 triads, producing a probability field that converges on a single methodological claim. The shroud, if read through the grammar of the biblical corpus under disciplined statistical inquiry, bears a signal that cannot be explained by noise. Whether that signal is statistical artifact, prayer-guided convergence, or forensic residue of a transphysical event remains, as James insists, the reader's inference. But the data is on the table. The methodology is transparent. The discipline is intact. For anyone willing to sit with the numbers, to respect the pre-registration, and to listen to what the corpus actually says rather than what we expect it to say, this volume is essential reading. It is a quiet revolution in how we might approach ancient texts, physical evidence, and the space